All rise for the Honorable Judge Passmore. You may be seated. Your Honor, this is case number 4479, Denlon versus McDonald Law Firm. Parties have been sworn in.
First of all, I want to thank all of you for agreeing to meet today. Unfortunately, due to the recent blackout, our courtroom is unavailable at this time. However, both parties have agreed to proceed with this case. Miss Denlon, you've chosen to represent yourself today. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr. McDonald, is this the last time I will be seeing you?
Yes, Your Honor. It's been a pleasure being in the courtroom for the last 25 years.
The feeling is mutual. But Mr. McDonald, after reviewing this case, I am disappointed that a man of your stature would be involved with the likes of a murderer like John Kramer.
Mr. Kramer was a good man and business partner at the time. Keeping his early career alive is how I choose to honor his memory.
Miss Denlon, I've read your complaint, and according to your statement, you are suing the entire McDonald law firm for $100,000 for pain and suffering due to the trauma you received from the Jigsaw Killer almost 15 years ago. Mr. McDonald, your claim today is that Miss Denlon should be rewarded the same amount of financial compensation that your firm reached with the other Jigsaw survivors 12 years ago, which was an average settlement of around $10,000. However, Miss Denlon, you also are asking that the money should come from the funds that the firm gained from Mr. Kramer, but not the firm itself. Is that correct?
That is correct.
First off, that last part sounds ridiculous given Mr. Kramer has been deceased for over 10 years. But given your testimony on your encounter with Mr. Kramer, I am in full agreement that you are qualified for potential financial compensation. But the question we have to answer today is, how much?
Your Honor, we can all agree that Miss Denlon here deserves to be compensated. The girl was kidnapped and held hostage while her parents were brutally murdered. But I have offered her most of the money that she initially requested. But ultimately, she decided to pursue the outrageous amount of $100,000.
Is this true, Miss Denlon?
Yes, but he...
Well then, why are we here today?
I don't want...
Do you have any evidence that John Kramer had any liquid assets?
No, but...
Are you not satisfied with the amount of money you were first offered?
It's not that. It's...
Mr. McDonald is...
I want John Kramer to pay, not him!
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you not...
No, it's all right, Your Honor. It's all my fault. Young lady, I'm sorry you had to come all the way down here today for this. I know that pain is still there after all these years. Your Honor, John Kramer is dead. His companies are no more. None of his assets are in the firm's possession. If they were, I would gladly offer up everything to Miss Denlon. But what she's asking for today is just not reasonable. We could go on about the statute of limitations, but I'd be willing to settle with Miss Denlon once again.
Bailiff, could you please take care of that, please? Thank you.
Your Honor, I will end this case now and compromise with the plaintiff. As my last official case, I will offer the plaintiff $20,000 out of our charitable fund. Miss Denlon, I hope this gets you all the help that you need.
Well, that's very nice of you, Mr. McDonald. Young lady, consider yourself lucky. Most attorneys that I come across are not this generous. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Your Honor, we have something that just came in. It's for Miss Denlon. They said it's evidence for her case.
Objection, Your Honor. You were just about to make your ruling.
Overruled. If it's evidence, I want to hear it. What is it?
It's a blue box with a note addressed to Miss Denlon and Mr. McDonald.
Miss Denlon, did you have anyone working with you on this case?
I mean, I had one person help me put it together.
I'll allow it then.
You can't be serious about this, Your Honor.
I've made my decision, Counselor. Bailiff, you may present both parties with this new evidence.
Did you know about this?
No, I didn't.
How did you not know about this? You were supposed to gather the evidence.
Deal with it. Your Honor, I would like to request a continuance to look at the evidence that's been presented to me for the first time.
Given the circumstances surrounding both parties, I will grant a short recess. We'll resume at 1:30 p.m. sharp.
What the hell happened? Father?
All right, Miss Denlon. Do you have any evidence that belongs to John Kramer or not?
Yes, I do.
Mr. McDonald, are you aware of these active stocks overseas that belong to Mr. Kramer that were established in 2004?
I am now, Your Honor.
You mean to tell me that you didn't know about these stocks overseas that are worth over $400,000 in John Kramer's name? Is that what you're telling me, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, in light of this new evidence, I will in fact rule in favor of Miss Denlon. Now, as far as the amount for pain and suffering, since the previous victims of the Jigsaw Killer have already settled 12 years ago, and with Miss Denlon here is the only Jigsaw victim to have come forward today, I agree with you, Mr. McDonald, that Miss Denlon should earn everything that John Kramer has. Therefore, Mr. McDonald, your counterclaim over the statute of limitations is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $427,000. One more thing, Mr. McDonald. I have a right to inform the authorities about this suspicious activity, and you can be certain that there is going to be an investigation for any criminal activity.
Sir, what happened?
Father, let me help!